just, I always pay tribute and respect. I'm from that generation. That's just how I am. I have 5x5 oil paintings of Ice-T's Power album, and that was a seminal album for me because I can remember being the album came out in '88, so I was 12, and I would sit up, be playing Nintendo, blasting that album. And I remember when High Rollers, the video came out, and that was contextualizing and painting a picture of what I was seeing happening in my neighborhood. But it also planted the seed of me getting street poison because I remember seeing the video and I was like, damn, I want a gun like that. Damn, that's kind of intriguing to me,
It started making the images make sense. It put some
start,
dialogue.
that's what I'm
behind the
saying. It
images,
started
yeah.
contextualizing that shit. So that album just was impactful for me. And so I always said, damn, when I get my woman, I got my guns, I got my money, I got my nice house and my cars. Yeah, power. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I got the fucking paintings. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the crazy thing for me
hmm
because you often hear, and you might see me on Facebook, people talk about the government's role in pushing negative stereotypes through hip hop. And for me personally, and for you too, I know you said you look outside. This was reality. You can say whatever it is, but this is what's really going on. So for you, if a lot of people didn't know, you were MCing and dropping, like you see, you dropped a couple albums.
Yeah.
So as that progression kind of went on, what made you hang up the mic?
Shit. Being a couple of things. It was a couple of things. For one, you have to remember I was like a young OG. I wrote my first rap in 1987. You know what I'm saying? By the time I was in a studio recording on a microphone was probably 1990. So I'm 14. By the time that I actually get a record deal and I get in a real studio with No Limit and Master P is 1995. So at that point I'm 7 years, already doing it. So come the early 2000s, even though I'm in my early mid 20s, I've been doing it damn near 15 years, So do you remember Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, of course.
So you remember when what's his face went in there and he's sitting down with Ving Rhames and he wanted him to throw the boxing match.
Yeah.
And he told him, he said, look, Butch, if you was gonna make it, you would have made it already. You know what I mean? So as I see the landscape of hip hop changing, this is when Laffy Taffy was coming out and it was changing, And I said, wow. I said, okay. Even though I had some moderate success, I made a lot of money because I put out independent albums. I was like, damn. But listen, bro, I'm probably 26, 27. I'm like, damn, if I was gonna make it where I thought it, I would have did that already. And then I was seeing success in other arenas, in other spaces. At that time, I had already built a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio. I started producing movies. I started just seeing other spaces of business. And so, it was just I had that conversation with myself. And I was like, okay, I think it may be time to move on from this. You know what I'm saying? I made some money. I had some fun. I met some great people. I got a chance to work with a lot of the people that I looked up to and it's time to move on.
Yeah, because over time, rapping becomes a liability. And if you don't know, I spit a couple raps in my day, man. So and I recently hung the mic up for the same reasons, man.
Yeah.
After a while, you're in a nightclub at 11 o'clock waiting to perform before the Laffy Taffy, right?
Yeah. And I just saw that like I say, the expectations were different. Even in my early mid 20s, at that point, I was becoming outdated. You know what I'm saying? Down to everything. When you understand music and the pockets was changing, the cadence was changing, the lingo was changing, the expectation was changing. Because this is such thing as you can almost rap too good, and it's just not appealing. It started becoming a thing where people, they didn't want to hear performance. They didn't want to hear, it being polished. They wanted it rough. They wanted to, it to be like a homeboy, the nigga up the street doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you had to dumb it down. And I was like,
Well,
I
and
don't want to do that.
and maybe I'll speak for myself,
Hmm.
but like you said, you built a multi-million-dollar real estate
Yeah.
portfolio. Kind of lose that edge, right? That
Hmm.
no, I always tell people nobody likes to hear the positive rap. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to hear about
Yeah.
how the agency just stopped you from losing all of your
Right.
money through insurance. Or
Right.
for most of us who are entrepreneurs, all of our money is capital gains. And if
Hmm.
you've been paying your taxes, then you know that they're really putting a chokehold on us here
Right.
recently. So, with that being said, what do you think about the upcoming election? You have any opinion on like Biden versus Trump? I always kind of load the question with my entrepreneurs with the
Yeah.
taxes. Like, think about the taxes for your
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know. It's a funny it's a funny dichotomy for me because I always say that I live Republican, but I think independent, but I vote Democrat, right? And I think mostly I vote Democrat because my wife won't allow me to vote anything else, right? So, but yeah, I saw a little bit of it with Sleepy Joe and Trump. I don't really get too much into politics, but what I can say, I can say this just from my experience is, when Trump or a Republican is in office as an entrepreneur, the money, especially when you're dealing with real estate and you're dealing with lending, right? There tends to be less red tape. The money flows a little bit easier. It's easier to get things approved. I will say that. Uh, but but then at the same time, man, I'll be honest, I'm for the people. So whatever's best for the people, I'm gonna get mine. So I'm not just a person that's just concerned with myself. Really, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? It would be easy for me. I mean, as you can see with just what I deal with just in our little ecosystem of KC, I could very easily shut the fuck up and just live my life and be all right, right? But um, I tend to want everybody to win. You know what I'm saying? So, it's really whatever is best for the people as a whole, you know. And I can't say that it's Democrats or Republicans. You know what I'm saying? It's good. It's pros and cons to both. If you want to be honest, it's pros and cons to both sides. So, um, that's my take on it. It's whatever is the best for the people. Now, my only issue with Donald Trump, and again, I'm not well versed on his policies, or even Biden for that. I do know that seemingly there was some type of reprieve for people in prison when Donald Trump was in office. I know there's the CARES Act and there's a lot of things that a lot of niggas from the feds gave some time back.